Testing, testing. Looks like Mike is working. Yo, what's up, everybody? Matty Ice here with Profit Props. This is the Sharp Side. As always, we will recap the last show first. We are very close to just saying yesterday when the NBA season starts in, what do we got? 5 days left, next Tuesday. We'll be back to daily. But to recap last show, 2-3 overall, 2-0 in the Bills game. Josh Allen under 231.5 cashed. He finished with 180. Bijan over 71.5 cashed. He finished with 167, I believe. We bet on Romo Dunze to score a touchdown. He scored a touchdown, and that was called off. We also bet him to have over 66.5 yards. I forget if it was a penalty or a Tereb Caleb Williams throw, 50-yarder. Called that one or took that one away from us as well. Feel like we should have went 2-0 there as well. And the Debo Reed, a little more aggressive. We attacked some plus money spots there and didn't get them. But I really feel like we deserve that Roma Dunze anytime touchdown. Anyways, looking into today, I have 2 plays out right now, and I've got my eye on quite a few others. As always, we kind of start here with the quarterback props. So we'll start with Aaron Rodgers. My model is leaning over for Rodgers in this one. I think the best price in the market right now is somewhere around 216. Pardon me. And I make this line closer to, 1 second here. $219 at Rivers, 220, 220, 217.5 at some DFS books. My shit is running hella slow, but I believe 36. Hella slow. Yeah, I make this line 236.2. Does look like we've had some market movement. FanDuel really stuck around 216.5 for a long time and just now made that move up to 219.5. Let me go ahead and run this again. Get a better idea where we're sitting. I do feel like I want to run this over. 236, still giving us a pretty solid edge to the over there. Also, if you have any players you want me to respond to, I should be able to see all comments, YouTube, Twitch, and X. If you have any players you want me to go over more in depth, we can. Let me look something up here. I do know they are, 30th in passing yards allowed per game this season. We can go look at the history. So Flacco, 219. Jordan Love, basically 260. Goff, basically 260. Knicks, 326. Carson Wentz, in his first start, held him to 173. Believe that was overseas, too. Pretty confident in that. And then 271. I've already played Flacco twice. 290 for Flacco the second time, and then 271. Model likes it. Market support. I'm probably going to add this to my card right here. What's the best available line? Guess I can remove this banner. Fellas, my apologies. My shit is running unreasonably slow. I'm not sure what the issue is right now. I'm actually just going to move this over to my desktop, and we're going to keep it moving. Rodgers, my desktop is moving much faster. 219, 220, 216, but super juice, 217.5, 115 at MGM. Hard Rock's at the same number. I'm adding Rodgers over to my card. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to blow them out. I think this game stays competitive, and Pittsburgh's passing through and into the fourth quarter. Do. Now we go make sure MGM has that line in NFL. Can't talk to you right now. I'm streaming. Yes, 217.5, 115. I'm locking that one in. All right, 1 second. Let me get that out. Just added Aaron Rodgers over 217.5 minus 115. Over. That's at MGM. Hard Rock's also at the same line, and then Bet Rivers is going to be your next best line. Let me get that out. Aaron Rodgers over. Bro, you should know I'm fucking streaming. Over. All right, we're good on that. Now, here's the one that I'm actually pretty questionable on. Let me see what my number is on Joe Flacco. Let me see what my number is on Joe Flacco. Thank you. Shit is taking forever. All right, my apologies, boys. We should be good now. Joe Flacco, okay, I'm really right with market at 240. I think it got a little bit of market support rising from 232.5. Looks like a DFS site is still that low. I like it at like 232.5, but I'm really like where the market is now, I don't see so much of an edge. We can talk about how many times he threw it last week. 45 attempts, first game with them. Kind of like a negative game script, I guess, for them the whole time, but I don't think it's a super positive game script. I do expect fewer attempts. Let me go see where my attempts are. And a few more rushing attempts out of Chase Brown, but I'm also not backing Chase Brown. I'll get to that later. Flacco, actually, I'm really right with market on the attempts. I'm at 35.9, slight lead under. And then with my completions, I'm at 23. So also pretty tight with market there. And that's going to hold true for Aaron Rodgers as well. Only play on the passing side of things is Rodgers passing yards. What's his line on his 2+ passing touchdowns? Pardon me. Minus 126. I don't hate that versus the secondary. They're allowing 2.2 per game. Flacco 2, Love 1, Goff 3, Knicks 2, Wentz 2, Lawrence 3, Flacco 1. I don't hate an Aaron Rodgers over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this one. I like his yards a little more, but I don't hate that pivot on Aaron Rodgers. All right, rushing yards. This one for me, actually, this is a really good spot for me to stop and talk about my model. Flacco 2+ touchdowns is good value. Honestly, versus the Steelers, I don't think that's bad. That's a bad look either. Flacco 2+ passing touchdowns. Oh yeah, at plus 144. Yeah, I don't hate that. Let's see. Wentz 2, May 2, Darnold 2, and then Fields ass, Gabriel ass are the only two not to go over. Don't hate a Flacco 2+. I actually really think Chase gets in the end zone tonight one time, so I don't hate that at all. I could definitely see Flacco. Now what the hell is happening? Here we go. Now I could definitely see Flacco throwing for 2+. Rushing yards. I got a website coming out that's going to display my model. Some of you have already given access to. This is one of those games where like you have to put some intellect in behind it because my model numbers are high on Kenneth Gainwell and Jaylen Warren in this game. But Caleb Johnson looked like he was working his way back into the rotation last week. You saw he had 6 carries. I believe it went 12-6-6, 12 for Warren, 6 and 6 for Gainwell and Caleb Johnson. So with that, I think Pittsburgh's going to continue that 3-man backfield until, if Caleb Johnson fumbles again, he might lose that spot. So I'm going to stay off my Steeler rushing props here. Model does lean over for Warren and for Caleb Johnson. Yeah, no, so I completely agree. At plus 144, I think that is solid value for Flacco. Like you said, every quarterback that's not complete has gone over. Sorry to any Justin Fields fans in the building. I definitely like the Flacco 2+. Actually, hit me up. We might get a collab write-up on that. A collab write-up on that would be sick. Chase Brown. Model numbers are pretty under on Chase, I believe. No, not really. I'm at 44. I'm going to stay off of this. He's went under this basically in every game, the 46.5. My model numbers are right there. And I think this might be one of the least negative game scripts for Cincinnati. They're at home. Joe Flacco's played Pittsburgh like 20-some times. Mike Tomlin many times. So he knows what he's getting. I'm actually happy with where my model lines up with Chase Brown. P. Ryan's getting some more snaps, let's see, 46% last week, 47 the week before. You see that he's getting more and more snaps. I don't hate like a receptions line. I think I saw 1.5. 2.5. Okay, 1.5 is super juiced. Okay, yeah, I was just kind of skimming through earlier. Didn't realize the price on this 1.5. I don't like it at minus 200. So disregard that completely. Probably nothing for me in the rushing department here. I've kind of told you my feelings about Warren, Gainwell, Johnson. Let me run over to the Props.cash mobile site. I want to see what how those targets have lined up the last 2 weeks for the running backs. And then we have a request here on the under rushing attempts. Let me go look and see how it stacks up versus the past current games. I do still think it's negative game script for Chase Brown, but not as negative as it's been. But you can see there, P. Ryan has taken a chunk out of those snaps. I actually tracked this. Let me see. I'm at 12 exactly. Is FanDuel 12.5 plus money still? Dropped from 13.5. I'm showing ESPN bet still at 13.5, 135. I got a 10% edge there, but the FanDuel under at plus money, I'm actually showing a little more of an edge. Yeah, that's what Props.cash has as well. I don't hate this at all. Under in 4 straight. You can see a snap share right there around 50. Market support obviously dropping from 13 to 12. Yo, Prop, appreciate you tapping in. I hope you weren't here for the Justin Fields slander. My apologies. I don't want to take that personal. I do not hate Chase Brown under 12.5. Do not hate Chase Brown under 12.5. Do I add this to my card? Model support, market support. I'm showing a 12% edge. In reality, I would have loved to play the best number at under 13.5. If you got the 13.5, you're big chilling. He said, nah. 13.5, 140, I don't want to play. 12.5 plus 112, I do like it. Got a little workaround here, maybe. If you have FanDuel your way in your state, I've been seeing, hopefully I'm not giving away too much, but the alt unders on there sometimes are just, in my opinion, very fairly priced. That's what I'll say. Let me just slide over here to your way real quick. Rushing yards. Oh, did they not do attempts? Oh, yards, receiving, receptions. You're kidding me. All right, can't get around it. No attempts. I like it, bro. I'm probably going to leave it off of my card. I just feel like this is like a decent game script for them. I'm liking for Cincinnati Flacco, second lowest yards per attempt in the league. You're liking receptions. Okay, I did take a swing at Jamar Chase. My thinking there is hella targets today. Um, so we'll see. I'm gonna move on from Chase Brown, but I do lean that under. My model shows support there as well. Moving into the receiving yards, anyone have anything in Chase Brown? Anyone have anything on Chase Brown here? Let me see where I come in. Receiving yards, 16.3. I'm really right with market here. Going to be nothing for me on the yards. Receptions line. So there was a 3.5 earlier that I think was kind of reasonably priced. Let me see. Nah. It looks like the best price I'm seeing even on the 3.5 was like a -175. I don't like it at the 2.5. My model numbers are like 3 exactly. So I'm going to stay off of this. At 3.5, I was kind of interested in the under, but going to be nothing there for me. I was going to say, I thought his targets were pretty high last week. P. Ryan is interesting for me. I know we got Jay Bird in the Discord, who's a big Cincinnati fan. I think we can continue to see this kind of usage out of him. I would love to see it. Like if he's a 3-target guy again this week, I think we might have like unlocked a new prop. That being said, the books will be on that as well. Warren receiving yards, just 11 last week versus Cleveland. They don't allow a lot to backs. Let's see where Jacobs 57, Gibbs 33, Harvey 40, ETN 18, Samson 64. I'm assuming a lot of those were pretty long receptions as well. 53% snap count last week. Just 2 targets last week, 6 targets the week before, however. What's his 2025 average? 3.5. Let me bump over here. You love Warren today. Yeah, I'm kind of liking the over yards, maybe even receptions. Let me see. Warren anytime. Oh, that's Tyler Warren. Okay. I was going to say Jaylen Warren. Okay. I was going to say if Jaylen Warren was plus 155 for a touchdown, that'd be sneaky look. Receiving yards, they're 30th in receiving yards allowed, 29th in receiving yards allowed to RBs. Let's go see how this line moved, but I'm probably going to be on Jaylen Warren over his yards. I'm at 24.2, so already a solid edge. Looks like FanDuel has held strong at 16.5. We were up to 18.5 at ESPN. I don't think they're sharp, but they've moved as high as 20.5 on some books, which is closer to where I have it. I'm going to run the over. Is Fanatic still at 15.5? If they're at 15.5, 125, I'm going to run that. Looks like FanDuel actually did just move to 17. I will run this if it's there. Fuck, I gotta update this fucking app. 1 second, boys. Gotta update. Oh shit, I gotta plug my phone in too. This bitch gonna die. There we go. Okay, we're in here. 15.5, 135. At 135, I might just take the 16. I have to see what I have as a better edge. Player props, receiving. $135. I'm gonna just take the 16.5. I'm gonna take the 16.5, 110 at MGM. This is definitely the right play too. Players. Not anytime touchdown. No. Receiving yards. I agree, prop. Actually, that's my exact projection, bro. 24.2. So yeah, I actually like a ladder spot up to 25 plus here. They're at 16.5, 130. What the fuck is Hard Rock at? Why is all my lines wrong? Player props, receiving yards. 16.5, 110. Leave it to Hard Rock. They just don't move. Let's go see the best line. Warren, first quarter rush yards. Holy shit, that might be sharp as fuck. First quarter rush yards. Does props not have? They used to have the first quarter rush yards. Are they not up? Did I do it too quick? 8.5. Is that the line? Oh, Rico, is that what you got? You got 8.5 at your book? I do not hate his first quarter rush yards over at all. I think they'll establish the run early. I do not hate his first quarter. I would like a 7.5. I don't hate that at all. I'm not. So I told y'all, peep his first quarter receptions. Saw 9.5 on ESPN. I would like to be closer to 7 or 8.5. Please tell me if this is 1. Nah, this ain't what it is. Props. Oh my lord. 1 reception. You got even money? Where you got that at? Where you got the even money at? Because that's an auto bet right now. One reception first quarter. Get out of here. Fanatics betting that right now. I barely even bet first quarter props, but bro, are you kidding me? 1 reception? That's going to be scripted in the first drive. What are we talking about? Where the fuck is Jalen Warren? Yeah, prop. That's the best. That's the best odds I see as well. Even money at Fanatics. Fanatics. First quarter. Yeah, we'll take that. We will take that. Yeah, that's done. That's done. Let me add those two to the banner. Are you kidding me? One? Are you kidding me? One? Yeah, we got those saved in there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll take that every time, bro. All right, I threw the StreamYard link down in the bottom there if anybody wants to come up and ask a question. We got plenty to go through, though. Plenty to go through there. Jaylen Warren first quarter receptions one is fucking crazy. Shout outs prop for that snipe. That's crazy. Honestly, let's go look at Jaylen Warren's. I saw they have alt odds up for the NBA. Not for the NFL right now. They do on the mobile. Let me go check the mobile. I kind of want to sprinkle the 25 plus on Warren here. I kind of want to sprinkle the 25 plus on Warren here. Jaylen Warren. Prop stock cash. I got a plus 186 at FanDuel, 185 at Hard Rock. It's not showing me Fanatics, so let me just double check there. Oh, they go 20, then 30. Got you. I kind of want to sprinkle this plus 186 at FanDuel. Probably going to go quarter unit. I just want to see something real quick. I got plus 185 on your way. That's receiving props. Jaylen Warren, 25 plus. I got plus 164. Still looks like, let me go check Hard Rock actually. If Hard Rock's 185, we'll run that. I'm only going to go a quarter unit here, but I do want to go to 25 plus. Yeah, plus 185. Run that at Hard Rock. Yeah, I basically believe that should be the minus 110 line. All right, let's move on from Jaylen Warren. Love those spots. Kenneth Gainwell, not so much in the receiving game am I going to be looking at him today. 6 and 6 in the last two games. I think that was on 6 and 6 targets. His average depth of target is, I want to say, around 1 yard. You can see Jaylen Warren was out this game. Took 77% of the snaps. Warren's back now. He took 34 last week, but still got the 6 targets. 2.5 super juiced. Not so interested in that line. Receiving yards, 18. I mean, I truly believe if he gets 2 receptions, he probably takes it for 20 yards. Especially if he gets that 3rd reception. So market's juice to the over on 2. I'm not racing to bet this. I prefer Warren in this game, but I spoke on how I think it's going to be like, I don't even know what the split will be. Probably something like 50, 30, 20. Warren, Gainwell, Johnson, if I had to guess. All right, Ja'Marr Chase already on this one, laddered this one actually. A lot of it's got to do with the targets, man. 12 targets last week with Flacco, 10 receptions. 96 yards. Y'all remember we laddered him up to 100. Needed that 100. I digress. I love him, though, up to 100 again this week. So we're doing the same thing. We got him over 69.5. I believe this was on Tuesday evening. We took over 69.5, which is 70 plus, 80 plus, 90 plus, and 100 plus. My straight line, I believe this should be at 91.1 on a minus 110. So I do think there's value if you go over plus 100, but that's that's as far as I'm going to go on Chase here. Let me add him to the banner and get the banner running again. We'll get that scrolling across the bottom. Absolutely love chasing this one. Think he's going to be a target hog again. Receptions line. Let me see where I come in on his receptions. So receiving yards, Ja'Marr Chase, 91 on the nose. I did some adjustments there. Originally, I had him projected as high as 124. I think that was a little outlandish, so we made some hand adjustments, got it down to 91. I'm still at 8.2 on the reception, so the over 6.5 minus 130, maybe even up to minus 135, good to go for me. But again, I still prefer the yards here. Took it at 70 plus, laddered it all the way up. I still think it's playable at all the current lines. That's my favorite play today. Big fan of DK Metcalf in this one as well. We'll get to that, but Ja'Marr is probably my favorite. All right, Higgins, still plenty of targets to go around last week. 8 targets for Higgins. He came in with 5 receptions in that game for 62 yards. The Pittsburgh secondary, they've got some names, but they've not been good. I know Joey Porter Jr.'s missed some time. Ramsey may have missed one game. But they've allowed a lot of players to go off. I think Justin Jefferson maybe had like 119. We can go look at some historical lines here. 126 for Jefferson, 114 for Addison. JSN had 103. His, duo there, 90. 95 for Garrett Wilson. There's not really a good duo there, but, Chase might have had a good game out of curiosity. Breece Hall had 38. He's almost like the second best receiver in there. And then Chase last year had 96. I understand. They switched out Minka for Jalen Ramsey. Different things happened, but don't hate this either. I think this will obviously be a game script. First possession. I think Chase is involved early and often. My biggest question is, how are they going to attack Pittsburgh? Let's go talk about Pittsburgh's 2 high coverages. I looked this up earlier, but I honestly forget. I think Cincinnati plays a bunch of 1 high, and I think Pittsburgh was more split. Let's confirm that, though. While this is loading, let me give my shout-outs. I appreciate y'all to be liking and retweeting the show. Help me grow the brand. Help me grow the page. Shout outs Justo, shout outs Prop, shout outs Moneybag Tone, shout outs Sosa, shout outs Jedi number 5, and shout outs Saxo. I know a lot of y'all have been tapped in for a long time, so hopefully make some more money here today. All right, I got this shit loaded up. Well, at least I thought I did. Yo, shout outs Rico. Appreciate you too, brother. Appreciate you. You've been tapped in a long ass time. All right, so cover 1. Let's see. I'm looking for, this is 1 high. Pittsburgh plays a shitload of 1 high, second most in the league. Cincinnati. Towards the bottom of the league in 2 high. Where are they in 1 high? Okay, 12th. They're more split. What I saw about Cincinnati, a lot of cover 6, but you're not seeing a lot of teams run much this year. They don't run the second most, only second to Jacksonville. On the Pittsburgh side of things, though, a lot of 1 high. I think that bodes well for both Higgins and Chase. I don't think longest reception's a bad look for either one of those guys. I know they're with a new quarterback, but if Joe Flacco gets any protection, he can throw a deep ball still. It's just, he cannot get – my apologies, wrong button. He cannot get away if he's getting rushed. So my numbers for Higgins come in at 3.5 on the receptions, but I wouldn't run that under. I think Joe's going to air it out to his two main guys, coming in around low 40s on the yards as well. So I'm not going to run any unders here on Higgins. I think his ceiling is higher than his floor in this one. Unless, look, it's divisional game on Thursday night. The Giants just beat Philly by 17 last week. So anything can happen. I'm not banking on a super positive game script for Pittsburgh. I'm not banking on a super negative game script for Cincinnati. The spread's only 5.5. But my initial leans are Cleveland will be throwing the ball here. I think Pittsburgh has a better chance of running away with this one than Cincinnati. That's what I'll say. Noah Fant, I think, is very interesting today. We've seen this line move. Obviously, there's been injury news come out. Let's go pull up the lines on him. Currently sitting at 28.5. I've seen this line anywhere from 30.5 to 26.5 this week. Looks like there is still a 26.5 available at MGM. Obviously, he's getting a bump because of the injuries. Let me see where I come in on his targets. He probably is due a 1 or 2 target bump for me, probably like a 1.75 to 1. Fans. I don't know. I got him at 3.3 targets right now. What do we think is going to go around? 4 last week. A dud, 5, 4, 5. Let's go to 4 flat and see where I come in. I think 4 is pretty flare here. I'm still slightly under. Not much movement on his receptions either. At 4.4, I'm right with market, which is probably 3.6 is his average, but none there. And you got to keep in mind they're down 2 tight ends here. So I think similar to Higgins, the sky is higher than the floor here. If I were to run anything on Noah Fant, it would be Noah Fant overs. Honestly, touchdown here could be sneaky. I think Pittsburgh's allowed quite a few tutters to tight ends, but let's double check that. Tight end specifically. Hunter Henry had 2. Barner had 1. Outside of that, nothing though. So, okay, nothing glaring there. I thought maybe Njoku got 1 in the game versus Cleveland, but going to be nothing for me on Noah Fant, but if I had to go anywhere here, it would be a lean over. DK Metcalf, I think, has a lot of interesting opportunities today. As we said, Cincinnati kind of split on their 1 high, 2 high coverage. You can see 126 and 95 in the last 2 games. Calvin Austin is again out this week, which I think gives DK more flexibility in where he lines up. I'm not saying he isn't lining up on the outside the majority of the time, but we saw in the Vikings game, and then ever since then, there's been some slot routes here, and I think that could bode well versus the Cincinnati team. I do think he's able to get a shot over the top, similar to Chase because the 1 high from Pittsburgh. Although don't be surprised if Pittsburgh is either shading him to the 1 high or even running more 1 high. I don't know though. Actually, now that I think back to it, they stuck to it versus Minnesota, so I don't think there'll be any changes there. Yeah, I think DK here probably good for 70, 80 plus. My model numbers are a little low to begin with, but then I came back and did a little bit of a target adjustment. You can see 5 and 9 the last 2 weeks. This Cincinnati defense is bad. I think that's the best way to say it. I had him projected at 5.85, but I really think he's closer to around 7.5 targets here, somewhere between 7 and 8. And when I get him to that number, I actually project him in the 90s. No, I'm sorry, 81.83 receiving yards is where I end up. So not only do I lean over his yards, probably run his yards, but anytime touchdown for DK is going to be what I'm going for here. 1 second. You can see DK scored in 4 straight, 4 out of 5 this season. I have a whole write-up on this, but he's just clearly Aaron Rodgers' favorite prop here on 80 plus 2. Yeah, I like the ladder opportunity for DK here. I also like his anytime touchdown. He's clearly Aaron Rodgers' favorite target. He leads the team in receptions, receiving yards, targets, red zone receptions, red zone targets, end zone receptions, receiving touchdowns, basically any receiving metric you can think of. He's first read, average depth of target even, which is kind of crazy considering he leads the team in receptions. Clearly Aaron Rodgers' favorite target, and the closer they get to the end zone, that becomes more and more apparent. He should have had 2 touchdowns last week. Aaron Rodgers underthrew a walk-in touchdown. Now, they did score on that play, and he did come right back to DK. DK probably got about a 20, 30-yarder there, and then I forget who scored the touchdown. Might have been Washington. I think it was a tight end, and we'll get into Darnell Washington. I think he has some opportunities here today as well. But anyways, clearly DK's his favorite target. I think DK will be force-fed the ball here, similar to Ja'Marr Chase. And we were able to lock this in, I believe, around plus 145, 150 last night. I think it was 145, and it looks like that's still the number FanDuel's at. So I love that number. Still definitely playable. Receptions, again, I think his targets are going to be between 7 and 8. He had 9 last week. He's averaging 6.2 on the season. One of the weaker secondaries, if not the weakest secondary they've played. What's his longest reception? I don't hate this. It feels a little high. I feel like if I were at like 21 and a half, I would be all over this. Cincinnati does play a decent bit of too high. I think the best play is his yards and then a ladder up. Let me go see. Let's go see how DK's line has moved today. 81.83 is where I come in with my adjusted projections. Steelers. Let me just go check something. If Bet 105 is really at 60 and a half, I'm going to run this straight. If not, I'll probably still run it straight, but for less. NFL, Steelers, Bengals, player props. Receptions, receiving yards, over 142. Okay. No, I thought it was 60 and a half, like 125. 142, big difference. All right, now we go to the next best line because I'm still interested in this. Receiving yards, full game. DK Metcalf, 65 and a half, 110. I'm seeing at Fanatics. 65 and a half, 125, 60 and a half, 134, 63 and a half, 117. That might be a new winner. 63 and a half minus 117. That might be a new winner. Paul George fully practices. Okay. You have a 63 and a half at Rivers right now. Looks like it's at 114. That line has came down slightly. Let's see how FanDuel's moves. FanDuel's moved up. Good sign for us. And then Pinnacle's moved up. They don't want to come off 60 and a half, but the juice is crazy. All right, I think I'm going to run a DK Metcalf ladder here. Over 69 and a half. Okay, so 70 plus is plus 110. I'd probably still take that 63 and a half. And then Rivers plus 155 looks like the best number on 80 plus as well. So if Bet Rivers has all three of the best lines, I might go 50, 50, 50, half, half, half. I don't mind going. I'm already 2 units exposed on Chase. $60 plus minus 136, $70 plus plus 110, $80 plus plus 155. That looks to be the best way to do it. I might go one half half actually now that I'm thinking about it. I'm at 81. I think 81 should be the minus 110 line. One half half. I think I'm going to do that. 60 plus 70 plus 80 plus on DK. Those are singles. 50, 25, 25. Risk 100. Potentials 2. All right, I'm running it half, quarter, quarter. Final decision. Half, quarter, quarter. Let me add that to the banner. A little bit of a ladder there on DK Metcalf. You got to take the 60 plus minus 136 at Rivers. Feels like a lot of value. I just made my mind up. I'm going full unit. I'm going back. I'm going to hit full unit on the 60 and then go quarter, quarter. So I'm going full 60, quarter, quarter. All right, let me get that out. All over DK today. All right, love DK today. Let's get that back across, running across the bottom. Moving on from DK. So the tight ends for Pittsburgh, more so Jonnu and Darnell Washington, I think are interesting today. You see not a lot of like result out of Jonnu, but 6, 4, 3, 3, and 4 targets. Like the dude's getting targets, receptions, 5 out of 6, 4 out of 4, 3 out of 3, 3 out of 2, 4 out of 3. So the yards aren't there. Let's see how his red zone targets have looked. Just that one in the first game. I think he ironically had a red zone rushing attempt one time. I'm not seeing it here, but I do believe. No, okay. I thought he did. It looks like he didn't, but Jonnu Smith, I think, is interesting. I also think Darnell Washington's interesting. Let's go see if either of these have moved throughout the week. Darnell came up a little bit, came back down a little bit, kind of been all over the place. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing everywhere. As low as 18.5 on MGM. Really wish I got to the opener there. Not good for account health, though, to lay an 18.5. 5 targets last week. Snap shares way up. Let me plug him in for 3 targets and just see where I end up. Good boy. No, 1 second here, boys. Let me see where I come in here. I'm at 34 yards here. I see a lot of value to the over. I see a lot of value to the over here. Let me go see what tight ends rank. I'm pretty sure it's very high, like 20. I think they're 29th in receiving yards allowed to tight ends. '26th. Yeah. I don't hate Darnell Washington. I wish I got a better number, but I still like it. If you want to, like maybe a 20 plus, I don't know. Minus 162. I wouldn't lay that. I think the straight line is good to hear for Darnell Washington. Honestly, if he gets 3 catches, I think he's soaring over. Honestly, at 2 catches, the line's 2.5, right? Like at 2 catches, I think he soars over this line. Just the 2 games with Aaron Rodgers, but I like Darnell Washington here a lot. 26th in yards allowed to receivers this year. If he gets his 2 catches, I think he's definitely clearing that yardage. I don't hate his anytime touchdown at plus 370 either. That might be sneaky versus this team. Don't hate an anytime touchdown out of Darnell Washington. I'm not running to the book to play any of these straight right now, but definitely some leans over there. Receptions, kind of went through this with receiving yards. I don't hate Warren's over straight, but we played the first quarter and the yards over, so we'll leave it at, I'm gonna leave it at those two. Do lean over for Chase. I already laddered his yards, but I think I have him somewhere in the 8s, so plenty of value to the over there. T. Higgins, I come in right around market, but I just like my heart tells me if over, if anything. DK, honestly, prefer yards over receptions in this one. I think he can do a lot of damage with 5 receptions. He could probably have 80 yards, 100 yards. So I like his yards better than receptions in this one. Yeah, receptions, that'll do it. Anytime touchdowns, anything that I didn't miss. I do really like the Joe Flacco 2+ passing touchdowns. I do like the Joe Flacco 2+ passing touchdowns. I don't think you could pay me to bet a Chase Brown anytime touchdown today. I don't like Warren at that price. If this were like plus 150 in this matchup, I'd be more interested. No, I don't like it at that price. Honestly, I'd like to see, okay, this is better price. I don't hate Chase at plus 150. I don't have a lot of respect for the Pittsburgh secondary. I'm pretty sure they've allowed second most receiving yards. '14th in passing touchdowns. Definitely not been stellar. Would not hate anytime touchdown. But again, I already laddered his yards. Higgins plus 220. The more I look into it, like that's probably a fair line. What's the best Darnell Washington? Plus 370. Hasn't scored this year. I think the red zone target could be there tonight. What's Noah Fant anytime touchdown? $475 looks like the best line. I don't hate an anytime touchdown parlay of these 2 tight ends, Darnell Washington and Noah Fant. I don't think that's an awful parlay right there. I hear you. I'm tempted to run my FanDuel 30% boost on that. Actually, I was going to use it on a DK and Chase 80-80, but I kind of like a Fant Waller anytime, Washington anytime touchdown. 440. Darnell Washington is plus 390. Throw a boost on it. Max I can bet is 10. Pays out 290. What do we think about that? Noah Fant, Darnell Washington, anytime touchdown leg. I don't hate that one bit. Let's see if Rivers is running second chance. Sometimes they have that. We have a second chance? Oh, no, that's on some hockey shit. Got a 25% boost on tonight's game on Rivers. Let's see if I get a better payout there. Anytime for Washington. No, I'm getting better odds at Rivers. I'm running this as my yeah, let's run that. 0.1 unit. I can only bet $10 on it, but I do like that anytime touchdown lay. Obviously a long shot, but I don't hate it. Oh, hello. Excuse me. Any other anytime touchdowns? Do y'all have any requests on anytime touchdowns? Let me check the Twitter comments directly. If not, we'll get up out of here. That's the full card. Don't expect any additions, except for like honestly maybe a lay or two. But outside of that, I don't expect anything new. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Let me recap everything real quick, and yeah, we're done for today. Do I add the passing touchdowns? Joe Flacco. I might add that. That's the one ad I might have. All right, let me go full screen, recap everything real quick. We'll get out of here. Okay. All right, here's the full recap for today. I have 1.25 unit Jamar Chase over 69.5, 70 plus rushing yards, minus 118. Quarter unit on 80 plus, quarter unit on 90 plus, and a quarter unit on 100 plus. Pardon me, 2 full units invested there. I have 1 unit on DK Metcalf anytime touchdown, lock that in, plus 145, still available at that price. I have Aaron Rodgers over 217.5 passing yards. Jaylen Warren over 1 second. $1.1 unit, Jaylen Warren over 16.5 receiving yards. 1 unit, Jaylen Warren over, just to record 1 reception in the first quarter. Jaylen Warren, 25 plus receiving yards for a quarter unit. And then the DK Metcalf unit, 1 unit on his 60 plus, quarter unit on his 70 plus, quarter unit on his 80 plus. Anything else that comes out, we'll just be using boosts. I'll get into that closer to game time. I appreciate y'all for tapping in today. Best of luck tonight. I'll probably catch y'all on Saturday and then probably Monday, but then Tuesday, NBA is back, noon Eastern, 7 days a week, right at an hour like we were today. We're back. NBA's back. All right. Best of luck today. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Until then, man, let's go.